fertility update. I made a video previously about this that I accidentally posted as public when I meant to keep it private. So I'm gonna redo it and keep out some of the information I accidentally shared publicly. So, it's been a while since I made any post about fertility stuff. May was a fucking hectic month, personally. My best friend of 14 years, her sister and her nephew died at the beginning of the month in a very tragic way. So that was shocking and kind of a lot to process, and literally happened like right after I had my fertile window and all that. So kind of like everything got lost in the shuffle of that, and my period came right before their funerals. So it was all kind of like intertwinedly happening at the same time, so I didn't really have a lot of capacity to like sit down and record what I was up to during those weeks, as it was just like a lot on the mind. And then some other fucking dramas have happened, and like just feels like there's a lot of heavy stuff going on in May, and so it's been a lot, so I haven't had time to like sit down and update on it. So we were talking like previously, Tori and I, about doing reciprocal IVF, and it had always been kind of like, but like it's so much money, like I don't think we'll get coverage, like our insurance plan really doesn't have coverage, and like, you know, it just seemed like kind of an unreachable thing where we're like, I don't think we could like do that. But like in my wildest dreams, it would be my egg in Tori's body, and that's how we have children together, you know. And then I kind of came to this point like after the last cycle where I was like, I think I'm just done. Like, I'm done with the up and down of it. I'm done being off testosterone. I'm just done like it being me. I feel like there's a lot of reasons why it seems like a good choice right now. One of them being like the political climate's not great to be like a pregnant man right now. It feels like really a lot more unsafe than it felt before, like with Trump having won or stolen the election. You know, I feel like that's a big thing where it's like I definitely feel less safe being publicly trans these days. And so being publicly trans and pregnant would have been like a big deal. And like, so I was like, okay, that's a consideration that we've been talking about a lot. Tori really wants to carry again. She really wants to carry, in particular, my egg. She expressed to me that she felt like worried, like, what if you have the baby and I don't feel like it's mine? I feel like I'm just raising your child, that kind of feeling, which I think is very common amongst like queer couples where one person's gestational carrier and one person is not. You know, there is that feeling of like, can I love to the same capacity? Especially for her, where she already has a biological child. She was like, can I love to the same capacity? You know. And I kind of feel the same in the reverse. Like, I did wonder, like, okay, like I've wanted so long for it to be like my biology to experience that. How will it feel if she just went and got pregnant and I just stopped? Would I kind of had the same feeling of like, but I'm always gonna wonder what it would be like if it was like part of my biology. But like, also biology doesn't really matter because I have the capacity to love all of my friends' children, and like my sister, you know. Of course, my nephew is biologically my nephew, but all of my friends' children are my nieces too, you know? So it's like, I have the capacity to love already that way, but we kind of both had that same feeling of like, I feel like the only way for us to like have a child together fully is like my egg in her body with Kyle's sperm. Thanks, Kyle. You know, so we're going to look into reciprocal IVF. We have a consult call at the end of June, on June 30th, just to talk about like what we want, all that stuff. The clinic we have chosen is known for being like less costly, because they want to make it more accessible to people to be able to afford it. And a lot of the like testing and stuff is done like locally, and you really only go to the clinic for the procedures. That kind of saves on cost as well. So we're gonna think about that, see if that's something that we can do. The thought is do an egg retrieval from me, and then obviously implant into Tori. We were gonna get married next fall because all this baby stuff was kind of like pending for me and for her. Like we were like, well, we can't do it this fall in case we get pregnant, you know, that kind of stuff. Now that we've decided to like focus on the wedding first, we decided to move it up to this year. So we're getting married in October. So hopefully the timeline will be kind of like we can get a lot of the testing and stuff done and whatnot, and maybe do procedures after the wedding, or maybe I don't know how quickly it will come together, but I'm like, maybe we get the egg retrieval done, we go for a fresh transfer right away, see if that sticks. But she also doesn't want to be pregnant for the wedding, so we might just wait. So some of that timeline is going to depend on the clinic's timeline, like how quickly can we start things. The first thing is going to be we have to get all the testing and stuff done, which will happen like mostly locally. I don't really have to go out there. So that's the plan right now. I feel really good about it. The other thing is that Tori really wants to be a stay-at-home mom, and she did that with Elijah and really liked it. And so I wanted to be able to give her that experience again, where if I'm carrying, it's a lot harder for her to then be the stay-at-home mom. If I'm recovering from it and she wants to say, you know what I mean? And, I can focus just solely on my business now and, become the one that's carrying the burden of the financials, which has like been reversed. And obviously we'll still have income coming in from her business. And so I can then focus only on working and, let her be having that experience again that she really enjoyed having with Eli. So, that's another reason why it just was like, if I was the one to get pregnant, then it's like I have to take time off towards the end of pregnancy. What am I going to do during later pregnancy? Like all these different things, where again, it was like being publicly trans was then suddenly going to be an issue of like, I have a lot of clients and contacts that don't have a fucking clue I'm trans. So then if I'm suddenly pregnant, it's like there's a lot of things to juggle and balance, where I was like, this feels like the right choice. Like, I don't regret any of this journey so far. Me and Kyle and I tried for a year, just about. Like one try shy of 12 months since the first insemination, So I feel really good about that, and it feels almost like a full circle kind of, because my first period last year was May 1st through 5th, and my first period, or my last fertile window that we're actively trying in, was May 1st through 5th of this year. And like I'm obviously gonna keep having a period through the next probably till the end of the year, depending on how soon the egg retrieval happens. So it'll take a couple months to stop after I go back on T as well. So I feel like all in all, I'll end up being off T for about 2 years total. And of course, depending on how many embryos we get, and if it takes right away, then we obviously have embryos saved for a future child if we want to have another, all that kind of stuff. So it's like really good, feeling really good, like prepared for the future. Because we have talked about like if I carried and then Tori carried, we'd have 2 more kids. So I don't know, we might still want to have 2 more. Who knows? We'll see how the first one goes. But like I feel really good about this decision. It feels like we came to it like really together, and we both are really like excited about it, and like feeling like this is the way for us to feel like it's our child. She's like, if your biology is in me, that's like the closest we can get, and that feels like really exciting to be like, this is our child. Like I'm informing your DNA on how to develop, basically. And it does really excite me to think about. So yeah, I have no regrets about this experience whatsoever. And I would do it all again. I think it's made for a good story. It's been interesting to navigate and to just kind of point out the, genderedness of pregnancy. I really wanted to like emphasize that like not only women can get pregnant, There's a little bit of sadness that I'm letting go of like an experience that I wanted to have, but I'm also really excited to get to focus on my transition goals again. Like I paused doing bottom surgery to like pursue this. So when things fell apart in 2022 with Dr. Citrullo and everything, I could have like pivoted and gotten consults, and I could have been like having surgeries right now. But I paused. I said, no, I really want to try and have a baby, figure that out. So I'm just going to pause the journey that I'm on, and I'm going to step aside from it and go off on this other journey. And so I have no regrets about this journey. It was something I wanted to do. And now I get to go back into the journey I've thought about for my whole life, but really like actively the last 9 years, thinking about phalloplasty and stuff. So it's kind of like I can refocus on that, and that's exciting to me. So that's the update. I guess we will stay tuned we will update. Tori doesn't like being in videos. I will update on how our consultation and stuff goes at the end of the month. But for now, Cal and I will not be doing any more inseminations. I shipped off all my fertility stuff to my friends who are about to start trying with their known donor, and like all my ovulation tests and the sperm cup and everything like that, because we're not going to need that stuff. Everything's going to be like super tracked and medicated for whenever we do attempt a pregnancy with Tori. So yeah, it feels good to pass it on to people who will use it, and sending good queer baby vibes to them. And yeah, I lost my train of thought about where I was really going with that sentence, so now I can't remember. Fucking my brain. Anyway, nope. The thought is left. But stay tuned for any future updates, and we are excited to just focus on like planning our wedding and doing that stuff, and then get into the baby stuff. So, all right. Hope you guys having a good week, and I'll talk to you next time.